Actually, I moved to Dallas back in 2011.
Okay, so you've been here 12 years now.
Yeah. And so in 2017 is when I started to just kind of immerse myself in all things real estate.
And when you got in, what kind of surprised you?
It's learning, right? I started flipping homes. I thought it would be like HGTV. Far from it. I think the first year bought like 6 deals.
That's one every other month. I think that's good.
Yeah, I don't think I was very profitable. I think they all lost money. A couple of them broke even.
I do think this is the myth that everybody has when they're like, I'm going to invest in real estate. I just want to clarify when people say invest, because sometimes people mean flip.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like investing, but it's in many ways like an operation business. Like you got to have your processes down, and you're really not holding onto the asset that long like a traditional investor. So it sounds like you learned a lot.
Yeah, I learned a lot. I learned that I need to do a better job sourcing deals.
Okay.
Because I was buying properties through a third party, like a wholesaler.
Yeah.
So I've realized that they were making more money on the wholesale side of things than I was on the flips.
And you have all this capital in the deal.
I take all
the risk.
Yeah.
I do think a person can make money on flips.
Oh, I know people that do it
Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity there. I do think it's for somebody who really has all their systems dialed in and relationships.
Yeah, you have to have crews ready to go, right?
Yeah.
And depending on the price point of the homes, that crew could look very different from place to place. So,
yeah, I mean, I see it every now and then, the high-end flips. Of course, there's just a lot more margin overall in that. But you also have a really particular buyer, and if your crew's not good, they're not going to buy that house.
Right, you don't want builder grade finishes in a
$2 or $3 million house.
Yeah.
So that's a problem. So you kind of you started in flipping, and I think you occasionally do a flip here and there still. Is that correct?
Yes.
What advice would you give to somebody who says, I want to be a flipper?
I would say do your research first.
Okay, what does that look like?
Finding crews, talking to folks that work in like vendors, subcontractors, materials, the finish out, the design aspect. I would almost suggest partnering with somebody initially just to kind of learn. Yeah.
Get the relationship, because you're unlikely to have the relationships before you get in that business.
Otherwise, buy a property low enough where you can just bring on a general contractor to do everything for you, right? If you don't have expertise in that space.
But do those deals even exist right now where you can get that good of a deal?
Investors are kind of a holding pattern right now. I think Natalia and I were talking about it earlier. That she's seeing homes that are not fixed up, right? Updated or renovated to go on the market recently. And I said, what I've seen is investors kind of in a holding spot because they don't know where the market's going to go. So if they buy a property today, is it still going to have the same value 3 months from now?
Yeah. So the home that was built in the 90s and is frozen in time in the 90s, normally an investor would snatch that up if it's got a good floor plan and they could, turn it around maybe a couple months.
Absolutely.
And resell it. But now people, I think, are not sure where prices are going.
Exactly.
I think they're going to be flat. But even still, for an investor, that poses some challenge.
Yeah, I mean, on the retail side, we're seeing there's just not enough inventory, and that's why we're seeing multiple offer situations.
On the good houses.
On the good houses, yeah. If it's priced correctly.
Yeah. On these ones that are frozen in time, unless they have a unique feature, it's going to probably sit a while.
Mm-hmm. Is Compass even doing concierge now?
Yeah, Compass has concierge still. The program kind of changes in all these evolutions. I've yet to have a client want to do it. I mean, I've had clients that make investments in their properties, but a lot of times they just have plenty of capital and then they do it on their own. Mm-hmm. But it is kind of a slick idea for a person who doesn't want to put their own money into upgrading their house. Yeah,
but it's being taken out at closing.
Yeah, right? It's not free money. We're not just handing out money. But there's no financing cost though.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's better than a home equity loan.
Interest free.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
To my knowledge, I know there's for sure no interest, but I don't think there's any financing fees either.
So it's not a third party, it's straight through Compass.
They have a partner that manages the program through them. But yeah, if they sign a listing agreement with Compass and they have equity in their property, then they're more than likely able to use concierge.
Is that the only two qualifiers?
I don't know for sure. It's a great question. There may be some other ones, but high level, if they fit in that bucket, then it's worth talking to them about it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's great for clients who want to sell and need a little bit of work.
Yeah.
If they need a lot of work, then that's maybe like a whole different story. But again, if they need a lot of work, maybe they should settle for a slightly lower price to get the home sold, and somebody else who has that expertise can come in and maybe take it to another level.
So they have a contractor come in? Do you know?
Who's they?
Meaning Compass Concierge.
No, it's
who
more
drives?
or less like a blank check for the homeowner.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so the program is cool. I mean, I shouldn't say blank check, but I mean, a lot of times the agent will have the relationships and they'll help them.
I see.
To me, the biggest uses of concierge are like storage for all your extra stuff, like paying for that. Sometimes people will even use it for short-term housing, so they're like get out of their house, and then, or maybe even for staging, and then like paints and other things. Like major renovation, I don't think the capital's there for that. But for smaller things like fixing up a bathroom or a kitchen, I think the money's there for those kind of projects.